All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Off the Monorails episode. I think it's 10. Hopefully I comment or put the number correct on there. Lost track. Maybe I'll just drop the numbers off and just put the date from here on out. I am glad that you're all here. I am wearing my spirit jersey, my rainbow spirit jersey, and the lanyard that Elizabeth C gave me, my pin lanyard. I just don't want to damage it though. So welcome, happy November, fall back. Hopefully you guys had a good Halloween. What we're going to be talking about today is value resorts and just kind of like why you should stay at a value resort and what's the purpose, who's going to stay at the value resort. Hello, Samantha, how are you? And just like all like the conveniences and what value resorts enable you to do. Of course, we'll talk about the accommodations and how I think there's some of the most fun theming on property. So I'm going to bring, hello, Elle, how are you? I'm going to bring in my special guest, Life with Lena. She just did 2 live streams last night, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
You did your own live stream with Life with Roxana.
Yeah.
And then you were the two geeks, something other?
Two real geeks, Danny and Jeff.
Okay. And they're in Atlanta, I believe, correct?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Okay, because I hadn't heard of them actually until you put in the social chat for Aaron's mods yesterday. So I just decided to hop in and kind of say hi. They're doing like that whole Halloween makeup thing, and
they are the king and queen of Halloween. If you want to know anything about Six Flags, they are the people to go to.
Yeah. So do they just go to Six Flags in Georgia, or they go around the country?
I think they just do Six Flags over Georgia.
Okay. Yeah, because there's a Six Flags by me and Roxy. That's kind of halfway between Chicago and Milwaukee that I'm sure she's gone to all the time. It's not quite Disney, right? Six Flags.
Right.
So, all right. I know there's something near and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about that a little bit.
Sure. November is actually National Military Family Appreciation Month. It's a month that the president monthly signs into proclamation that it's a month to honor the family sacrifices, spouses, parents, children's, aunts, uncles, etc., the support system behind our military. And so that is, always in November during our month of thanks. So if you are a military family, or you have friends who are military families, thank you so much for your support of them, because the soldiers can't do what they do without the support they have behind them, whether it's here at home when they're home, whether it's here at home when they're on deployment or they're on a temporary duty assignment. It's the ones back home, they know that there's always someone supporting them.
Yeah, it's not just a sacrifice that the soldier makes, it's the sacrifice the entire family makes.
Correct.
Sometimes they go with months or even years without seeing their loved ones. So
yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely need to take time to appreciate and thank everyone.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing that up. Again, like I said, I know it's a cause near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
You being a someone that's involved, like I believe your husband, correct? Was it?
Yes, my husband is a Army veteran. Yes.
So it's got to be rough when you're sitting at home, kind of worrying about them wherever they may be. So thank you to the veterans, thank you to their families and active duty soldiers and their families. We appreciate all that you do. All right. And it's appropriate that it's during November because Veterans Day is November 11th. So yeah. All right. Kind of an awkward transition from there to value resorts. It's like how do I go from here to here? I know that Disney does military discounts.
Yes,
right?
Fantastic military discounts. And there's a lot of questions, especially when it comes to the military community, like who qualifies for the military discounts, because not everyone does. Not everyone is considered qualifying for a military discount. You must be an active duty military member, a spouse of a active duty military member, or a retired military member. Like my husband, because he is retired before he had 20 years in, he does not qualify until he turns 67, again, for the military discounts. But my dad, who did 20 plus years and has a blue card, I'll just show you. Like, this is my previous military ID card. It's pink. My dad has one exactly like this, but it's blue. My dad can use Disney's military discounts because he has a blue card. Sam, we can't because he doesn't have the blue retired card. And I am also a travel agent who specializes in military discounts. So if you have a friend or family member who is military and wants to book a trip and they aren't quite sure the ins and outs, do I qualify? Do I not qualify? How does this all work? Please refer them to me. I'd love to be able to help them plan a magical vacation, whether it's to Disney, Universal, or just a regular road trip.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for sharing that. So, okay, so I know that Disney also has it. I know that there's the Shades of Green, right? See, we're already
Yes,
going
but
off the
that's
topic
not
here.
Disney. That's not a
It's
Disney
not
resort.
It used to be a
Yes,
Disney resort, but they sold it
correct.
to the government, correct?
It is actually government property. It is a gated, just like going onto a military base. They have military police with their guns and stuff, and you must have a military ID to get onto property because it is federal property now.
Yeah, you don't want to make a wrong turn when going to the golf courses that are right next door. So,
Exactly. They'll be really nice and they'll just turn you right around and say, sorry, you aren't authorized to be on this property. Have a nice day.
yeah, it's not going to be like passing by Area 51. Long story on
Right.
vacation.
Right.
Vacation, see my grandparents in Las Vegas. We were driving by that whole Air Force or government property, and like my dad kept joking with us that, oh, let's just turn around this road, turn around this road. I'm like, they're watching us, and he's just like, oh no, like they're gonna shoot us. Like if we ever like, oh no, that's not gonna be the case, until he saw the car that was following us. And it's like, maybe they were right. So after that, I was never so scared for my life at any point. It's like, you've seen this stuff on TV, like that, like those History Channel, Discovery Channel stuff, where they keep airing like Area 51, how it's highly protected, and
Yes.
all that stuff is just like top classified secret
Yep.
stuff.
They
It's just
aren't
like,
going to shoot you unless you try to storm Area 51. They'll just
right.
very gently say, hey, we need to turn you around and you need to go the other direction.
Mhm. Oh yeah, Elle, I'm gonna tell you right now, there was a car looking at, like, watching our car to see what we were gonna do. I'm sure that they were listening inside somehow. But
Sam wants it known that he's been to Area 51. So
yeah, there we go. I'm sure he's seen all the aliens.
were there aliens? He says, I'm not liberty to discuss that.
Oh, okay. So, value resorts. There are 5 of them now.
Yes.
As we were kind of discussing backstage, the last time I stayed at a value resort was way back in the it was early 2000s. I know it was the All-Star Music Resort.
Okay.
Like the first resort that I stayed at was All-Star Sports. I think it was 1999.
Okay.
And so it's been a really, really, really long while since I've stayed there. But I also know that when it comes to the All-Star resorts, I don't think a lot has changed all too much.
They are in the process of remodeling them to be very similar to the Pop Century resort. The
Okay.
style.
So I have never stayed at Pop Century Resort.
Okay.
Well, I know the biggest change so far at All Star Music is they have some of the family suites.
Yes.
I think they did the test there. So you mentioned you're a travel agent. You also stayed at Pop Century.
Yes.
So let's talk about Pop Century first off, since that's what all the other resorts are kind of going to. What can you expect if you stay at Pop Century or any of the value resorts for that matter?
Well, a lot of people think value resorts, you aren't going to get your money's worth. And some people go, oh, well, for the money that I'm spending, I could just stay at a Motel 6 or I could stay off property. But the number one thing that I love about the resorts, because we've stayed at Pop, we've stayed at All-Star Movies, and the theming is just amazing. And I know that they're kind of changing the theming to be a little bit more streamlined, than it used to be, but it still has that Disney feel in it. One of the things that because we stayed in All Star Music and we've stayed at Pop, and when we stayed at Pop in 2017, we were there for 2 weeks over Thanksgiving. It was still they were in the process of remodeling Pop Century, and so some of the rooms had the new style of beds with the Murphy beds, and some of them still had carpet. And we ended up with a room with the carpet. And I have asthma. And my asthma was horrible. I was coughing and sneezing. I came home with bronchitis again. When we went in this past year, December to January, we had all of Pop Century's obviously remodeled, and we had the linoleum and the bed with the space underneath for storage. No sneezing, no coughing, no bronchitis. It is so much easier to sanitize the new style of rooms because it's not carpet. Carpet just holds germs and bacteria and dust and um, service. You can request, and this is across the board, you can request a deep clean if you have some sort of breathing problems, but there's only so much deep clean you can do to carpet. With the linoleum, they can clean it and then they can steam sanitize it again, and it helps pick up more of that pet dander, especially if the family right before you had a service animal, because all the resorts are pet friendly in the course of, hey, I have a service animal because my child has seizures. I have a service animal because I'm a veteran and I have PTSD and the dog helps keep me calm. Though it's pet friendly in the course of that. So you never know what kind of situation the room saw before you checked in. Like I said, I didn't have any breathing problems on this last trip, and it was amazing to come home and not have bronchitis. It was great.
Yeah, so I mean I could definitely attest for that, even just being in my home where it's pretty much almost all carpet, and just if I know that my allergies are getting a little bit worse than they should, either A, I need a shave, or B, it's time for me to vacuum. But then every once in a while,
LD
yeah, I can,
question is Pop
yeah,
a resort for couples? Yes. I don't. My husband and I don't have children, and so we don't find that it's super noisy or anything like that. We've actually stayed in 3 different areas. We've stayed in the 50s preferred, which is right at the front of the very first 50s. If you're going out the back and you're facing the hippy dippy pool, we call it the hippy dippy trippy pool. And you go to your right, and the very first 50s building is 50s preferred. And we were in 1313 over Halloween in 2015. I freaked out. I was so excited. Um, on our 2017 trip, we were in the 50s standard room, which was kind of towards the back, right by the 50s pool, which is actually the shape of a bowling pin. And on this past trip, we were in 60s preferred room, and we were right behind the 60s pool. We actually faced Hourglass Bridge and Hourglass Lake. We were probably a 3-minute walk to the Skyliner, right on that bridge.
okay.
So I would definitely say I liked it more for couples than I did the All Stars. The All Stars is really where the families tend to go because of the theming. The kids really don't understand the theming of Pop Century. That if you like Sam and I love the 50s, we love the 60s, and then of course, like we're 90s kids, so we love like the 90s type theming. And I keep saying I'm going to hijack the big shadow box in the lobby of all the Atari stuff because I need the toggle for my Atari. And so if it goes missing, please don't come and check my house because it's probably here.
Note to self.
So I think that Pop Century is a lot better for couples, especially if you love some of the retro classic type theming more than the All Stars. The All Stars, when we were there, yeah, I agree. If you didn't know, Art of Animation actually was supposed to be the beginning decades. It was supposed to be the 1900 even 1910, 1920, 1930, and 1940. And then when 9/11 happened, they stopped construction on it. Some of the Little Mermaid rooms are actually as old as Pop Century is. It's not new buildings. It's some that they actually had started building, and then 9/11 happened and they ceased construction because attendance dropped. And then when they decided to go forward with the new value, they went with a brand new concept, which I'm really unhappy about. I really would have liked them to continue with that same theming. But that's what
I,
it is.
I think it kind of goes back to what you were saying, though. It's just like some of the younger kids wouldn't be able to understand the
Right.
1900s. Like,
Right.
think about it right now. 1900 was 120 years ago. Even
Exactly.
for like even for some of us, like a lot of those references would probably be even outdated for us. Like those,
Right.
so I think that hotel probably would have gotten stale
Pretty
much
quickly.
pretty quickly. Where like I get why they were building it because it was the turn of the not even the turn of well, it's turn of the century, turn of the millennium, all that
Right.
nostalgia. It would have been cool then, but
Yeah.
then it would have been quickly. We need to refresh this and kind of put other
Right.
stuff. I kind of feel like so. I mean,
I
I get what
agree.
you're saying. It would have been cool to see that. I totally agree with you.
If
But
if you're looking for a value for couples only, I would go with Pop Century over the other four, the All Stars and Art of Animation. Art of Animation is very, very family centric. It's got the family suites. It's Sam and I visited Art of Animation on New Year's Eve because they have resort activities instead of going to the parks, and it's just a walk across the bridge. And it was loud. The music was blaring. And I mean, I don't know if that was simply just because it was New Year's Eve, but it actually started to give me a headache. And I'm like, Pop Century isn't like this. The music is kept really mellow. All of the pools now have gates around them because they've had some unfortunate incidents with kids in the pools. Um, Pop Century has one of our favorite bars on property. It's called Petals. It's the pool bar, and the staff there is always really awesome. And if you don't know what you want to drink, they'll sometimes go, "Well, what kind of things do you like to drink at home?" And they'll take that and they'll mix you a cocktail. And sometimes it won't even be something on the menu. It's just something that they kind of put together, and they're playing mad scientist. And that's the only bar on property that I know that will kind of do that.
oh wow, I see. I almost visited there back in July, but I was getting towards the end of the night, and we're like, okay, the Skyliner is going to shut down soon. And so like we don't want to be stuck. We were already stuck at the Riviera because of thunderstorms, and they shut down the Skyliner. We're like, we don't want this happening again. All right. Well, we're gonna do this tomorrow. Maybe we'll hop on if the line's not too long. We actually never made it there, but
Oh no.
uh,
And something that I want, if you didn't know, is that you can actually, and I don't know right now what the rules are. I know that a lot of things are different right now. But on a normal day, you can go visit the resort. You can walk around the lobby, you can walk around the gift shop, you can go eat in the food court. You can go walk around and check out all of the decor in the different sections of the resort and go check out the pool bar. You don't have to be staying there to get in the pool bar. You do have to be staying there to get into the pool area. It does open with the Magic Band.
yeah. I think again, this is going back in July. I think you could probably visit the food court. I mean, right now the food court is just grab and go stuff, so I don't really know.
Right.
I don't really know if it's that like if you really should be going into the food court or
Right.
the
If
but if
like on a normal time, not during, the year of insanity.
right, but with the other resorts, we walked into Riviera just fine.
Yeah.
Boardwalk, like there was a pretty good. I think those were the only two, but I think you could go
Mhm.
into those resorts just fine and um visit and shop with whatever was open. I know more stuff is open than when we were there in July.
I
Um,
I will give you a big tip when it comes to Art of Animation and Pop Century. They
but
are right next to each other. They are connected by Hourglass Bridge, which goes over Hourglass Lake. Their bus stops are right next to each other. Sam and I stand in the middle because If if Pop Century comes first, we'll jump on a Pop Century bus. But if an Art of Animation bus comes first, we'll jump on the Art of Animation bus, walk through the lobby, and walk across the bridge to the resort. It's
And this is the bus stops at each park, correct?
yeah, at the parks.
Mhm.
Because the bus stops at the parks are right next to each other. So you can mix and match for those two resorts. And I'm sure that, and you can do the same thing for All Stars. I know sometimes if it's a slower time period, there's one bus for all three of the All Stars, but during the busier time frames, they each have their own separate bus. But you could do the same thing with that if they're running individual buses. Like, hey, I'm at our All Star Music, but All Star Sports bus is here and it's not full. I'm jumping on that bus and I'll just walk across and hit the other next resort.
I was gonna say you could probably do that for the Yacht and Beach Club and
Yep.
Boardwalk.
Yep.
What else? I mean, there's a few other that are kind of, or maybe like it's just even like the monorail resorts too.
Mhm.
From well, right now they have buses to Epcot.
Yep.
But for I want to call it MGM Studios. That's where my heart is. Like
Studios.
it's always going to be
Yep.
MGM Studios
Agreed.
to me.
Agreed.
But like, yeah, like I'm one of those types of people that even like before, like our trip was originally supposed to be in March,
Yeah.
like the last week of March, and like the week before is when they shut down everything. It's like, couldn't they just wait till April? It's like, no. The entire country was shutting down. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I guess they kind of have to. Um, but we were trying to plan like, okay, we're gonna get the park hopper tickets. Like we're staying at Boardwalk. If we want to go to the Magic Kingdom, we could just walk through Epcot, maybe have breakfast at Epcot, take the monorail to the Magic Kingdom just so we could say, okay, monorail, check. Like we had like all these little different transportation things that we're thinking of, especially with like Hollywood Studios being in walking distance of Boardwalk. That's like the number one reason. A, there was a discount going on, and B, we wanted to be within walking distance of Hollywood Studios to get that stupid boarding pass for Rise of the Resistance.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yes.
I that's kind of for when we're talking about like the all-star sports and just all-star resorts in
Mhm.
general. That's where they put all the sports.
They
And
actually spread them out between the All Stars, AOA, which is Art of Animation, Pop Century, and the hold on, Port Orleans, French Quarter, and Riverside. They will actually spread them out between all of those now.
Oh, really? Okay,
They don't
that's
just
some.
leave it because they want to be able to kind of spread them out and not keep them concentrated.
Okay, that's something new because French Quarter, for modern resorts is kind of like my favorite modern resort, and it was quiet and like secluded and very
Yeah.
small. So I didn't realize that must be something more recent than
I
what
think I
2000.
think there was enough people staying. Like LD says, can get very loud and very busy. And I think people that were staying there on their actual trips were complaining because they were breaking curfews and being in the pools too late and whatnot. And so they're like, okay, we've got to spread this out a little bit.
Okay,
So
yeah, I can definitely agree because I think that was one of the things where, again, my family when we first were staying on property, we chose value resorts because A, it was the cheapest, but B, also you did have like a lot of those groups, and it did get noisy. And
I will say that when Sam and I were getting on the Tragical Express to come back home in January, we were on a bus with probably 50 students, and I'm like, oh wow, how long have you guys been here? Well, we've been here a week. Had no idea that they were even there. And they're like, oh yeah, some of us are at Pop, some of us are at Art of Animation, and there's a few at one of the moderates. And I can't remember which one, but I'm like, are you serious? And they're like, oh yeah, we've been here about a week. Our school it was a school in Atlanta or something that takes the class trip over Christmas break. And I'm sitting here going, there was at least 150, if you figure 50 per resort, kids that were there on a trip, and you didn't hear. There was no running up and down, on the outside of the rooms. You didn't hear them screaming in the food. You didn't. I had no idea these kids were there, and I'm like, and I complimented the teachers, and I said, you guys have done amazing with these kids because we didn't know they were there, and the two adults went, thanks.
It,
They were so tired.
it probably took a lot of work, and it's just like, well, if
Yeah,
you didn't
so
notice we were there, we must have done our job because we
exactly.
had a heck of a time trying to track down little Bobby Jones over there
And
who
then their
broke
flight
curfew.
got delayed.
Oh
and
no.
and so they were trying to get 150 students through security.
I can't, like, yeah, like Elle was mentioning, she was overwhelmed
Yeah,
for with all those kids there. That
yeah,
moment sounds overwhelming just in a
yeah.
nutshell, trying to get 150 kids through security. Like I hate taking off my belt through security. Like I did the whole TSA thing where you get the
The
like
pre-check.
the pre-check. I'm like, you know what? Because for me, I'm like the shoes, the belt. I'm like, I'm walking through security. My pants are pretty much almost falling down.
Okay, just make sure that you're wearing underwear, Matt, and it'll be
I was, yes, I am. Like I underwear is a part of my wardrobe always. Let's just be clear with that.
always
But
wear clean underwear. Yeah.
exactly.
But yeah,
I've got somebody else in the room with me, and just he's giving me the side eye right now, just like, what the heck is going on? Like, yep, we're a little bit off topic, but
that's okay. Back to
yeah,
value resorts. One of
yes,
the things that I liked about our room um, post trans post renovation was the way it was set up. It seemed bigger somehow, and that simply could be because the one bed is a Murphy bed, and so it was up. We didn't ever pull it down. Sam and I function in a full size bed anyway, and so to have a queen bed, we were like, whoa, so much space. We weren't quite sure what to do with that.
and so all is this how all the rooms are going to actually look
Yes,
like with the one Murphy instead of just the
yes,
two, kind of like honestly, like if you're thinking of value resort, it's the motel setup. You have the outdoor doors are on the outside,
yes.
and it was two queen beds,
It used to be two full beds, and
two
they
full beds, yeah.
upgraded them to two queen beds, which I think is amazing for the value resorts, and you gives you just a little bit more space. The Murphy bed can be popped. It can be left down or it can be popped up. When it's up, it creates a table and it has two chairs. Like I said, Sam and I didn't utilize it as a bed. We utilized it as the table, and it felt so big in that room as opposed to when we were in the Pop Century at 2017, like because we each took a bed because they were full size beds, and I mean there wasn't like we were that far apart. We would just like we each had typically on vacation we will each take a bed, but we're like, we didn't. I was afraid that I was going to fold up into the Murphy bed, not gonna lie. And my
Watching too many TV shows where that happens, where they just you see you go like, oh.
and I told Sam goes, if that happens, I'm totally recording that. Like, thank you,
It's
thank you.
I'm about to show off, Aaron. I'm about to show off, but me and my brother were at Disneyland, back in
There you go,
November.
Aaron. He's
There we
showing
go.
off.
See, there we go. There's the show off part right there. We were at the Trader Sam's at the Disneyland Hotel, and I'm sitting in like a normal chair. He's sitting in the. I know they have that at the Trader Sam's at Disney World as well. The chair that just keeps going down and down and down and down.
Mm-hmm.
It just keeps going until you're basically sitting on the floor. So I'm just sitting there. I'm like staring at him, and it's like, all right, he's like his level and eye level. We were like starting at eye level. He's a little bit lower, and then he's like freaking out. I'm like, is this chair falling down? Is this chair falling down? It got to the point where he was like, it was all the way down. I'm just like looking at him like, Oh yeah, I'm like either something's wrong with the chair. I'm like I didn't realize it was supposed to do that. It's like, oh, okay, whatever.
One of the other things that I really like post renovation is that the value resorts now have coffee makers in them, and they're good coffee makers. They are, it's not just the little 4-cup pot that you kind of are concerned about because people are like, oh, I boiled hot dogs in the hotel coffee pot. Well, thank you. That is why my coffee tastes weird, or I'm hoping that's why my coffee tastes weird. It's the single cup coffee pots. Some of them, hello, Surfer Girl, have like it's the filter. It's like a filter that's all sewn up in a circle, and some of them use K cups. It depends on what resort you're at. But that was really nice. And the open door refrigerators or the clear door refrigerators are so much nicer than the other ones. To me, they seem to get colder than the old ones did. And that could just be because they're newer. But I know when we were there in 17 and we would put our water and our soda or our beer in the refrigerator, it just didn't get cold. It would be like, you know, just a little above room temperature. But these refrigerators, they were icy. I was very, very happy about that.
Yeah, so I was letting you talk about the coffee maker and the refrigerator. I mean, that's awesome because especially if you like have like treats in the park, you want to bring back like, oh, this needs to be a little bit colder before I eat it. That sounds like perfect. But my brother was he's the one that's off screen. He was telling me that the bartender kept saying like throughout the whole time was just like, oh, so do you look up to your older brother? Because he was shrinking, and it's like throughout the whole night he was making these like puns, and my brother was like, I'll admit we're both laughing, and it was like back and forth between him and the bartender, and all the other bartenders are just like, oh, this whole pun thing, like you could tell that they're just like we're having fun, like the bartender's having fun. Everybody else is just like, it's towards the end of our shift, we want to go home, but they're not going to leave. So finally, we get like a drink to go home. And there was this one pun. Like my brother's like, I need to think of something, like a comeback for this. So we get up to our hotel room. He's like, I thought of the comeback. So he goes downstairs, back to the bar, and says it to the bartender, like right at closing time.
That's funny.
Oh, he was like the joke was, don't belittle me, because
Oh,
and it was almost like it was. He's laughing in the back at it. It was so stupid. It's like you went all the way down from like our room just to go say that. Like, yeah. He's like, it was worth it. I'm like, all right. But yeah, back on topic here.
yeah.
So in terms of Pop Century, the layout,
Yeah.
because I know
Yeah.
each of the Valley resorts, the layout's a little bit different of how everything's situated. I know that Pop Century, I think the building, correct me if I'm wrong, like the main check-in building's towards the middle, correct?
It's up front.
The front? Yeah,
Mhm.
but like in terms of like it's half to the left, half to the right, if you're trying to think of the rooms, actual rooms, or not.
Mm, Up.
In terms of like so like I guess where I'm getting at, is every one of those rooms close to the food court? That's where I'm getting
No.
at. No.
Let
Okay.
me. I'm gonna do a. You'll need to approve it. Okay.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So this is. I'm just waiting for it to load. My computer's sometimes slow. There we go.
So we got all of these
Good.
nice. See, that's a good thing about any Disney resort, right? You can look up the map right away on
Yep.
any resort.
Yep. And I just kind of clicked on. I went to images to find one, so I'm not quite sure what website I'm on. But it says it's got a map of the resort, and that's what I wanted.
So it looks like you have the
There's a
50.
bathroom. That's a here.
Looks like
This is actually a good one. Hold on. Go ahead, Matt.
it says it looks like you got the
I'll
50s
get
is
back
three
to
buildings,
the.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
And the 60s is three buildings. The 70s looks like it's
Yeah.
2, 80s are 2, and the 90s is 1.
Yeah.
Which
90s
kind of
is
makes
2.
sense.
90s is yeah. So
Oh,
this right here is where make sure you see what I'm saying for you. This right here, on this end right here was where we were when we were in 1313. It's preferred. This right here is the main check-in lobby here, and these are the bus stops right here. And this is where the food court and the gift shop and check-in is. Right here is the pool, and our room on this was our 2015 room over here. Over in this area right here, kind of towards the end, was our room when we were there in 2017. And in the mornings, we could walk out like right here. This little path right here was like right by our door. And we could walk straight out and we could see the sunrise over Hourglass Lake. And then on this past trip, we were actually right here, like right on the end, like right here. And so all we had to do was walk down the stairs and up, and we hit the Skyliner.
it seems like this whole layout, like it's not really that bad if you're thinking of like that. The was it Classic Hall? Yeah, it's Classic Hall.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
classic hall.
it's more of in like a central location where like All Star Music. I remember staying there. It's complete. It is a very long resort. So
Yes.
so some of those walks, like I think I would be okay with walking from the 80s or 90s to like to the center hall. Like it doesn't look like there's a bad spot to stay in terms of
No.
accessing the bus stops, maybe the Skyliner with the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, it's a little farther of a walk for that one. So I am trying to zoom in, and it's just not doing it for me.
It doesn't matter. Like I think we get the gist with all
It,
this
it,
stuff.
it's a pretty short walk from the 50s area and the 60s area. Yeah, the 70s, 80s, and 90s area over here has a little bit more of a walk if you want to use the Skyliner.
And you right now, I don't know if they just discontinued this in general from there, but I know before the shutdown, we'll just call it the shutdown.
Shut down.
I know they cut down on the buses to Epcot and Hollywood Studios to like 1 an hour, I believe.
That actually started while we were there in January. It's they stopped the buses to Epcot and Studios other than once an hour, and they both come at the same time. So if you miss the bus, you're out of luck unless you want to take the Skyliner. I don't like the Skyliner. I have a massive phobia of heights like that, and ever since it had that breakdown in the fall where like they got hung up and people were stuck in the air for 3-4 hours, I am with So Cargo that they are the death traps in the sky. I will not ride them.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll fully admit, like my thumbnail is the Skyliner,
yeah.
purposely because it connects Epcot and Hollywood Studios. You have to go through Caribbean Beach, but it connects it with it. For me, on our first day, we actually didn't have a park pass, so we just rode the Skyliner to the Riviera and just kind of do something like we have nothing else to. We have some time in between our diner reservation. We want to see what the Riviera looks like. It's all about because it's the newest resort, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I am afraid of heights, but for
I've got
me,
an for you.
oh, we'll add this here. I am afraid of heights, but for me, I was fine. But I can understand your concern being stuck up there because again, this was the middle of July. If the Skyliner is not even moving because they're putting on someone who has accessibility issues, especially at the Riviera, because they have to slow it down or stop it to let those people on. They don't have the special. They weren't doing this at any of the stations at the time, but they don't
Right.
have the special. They can pull it off to the side at the Riviera, which is something
So
I
here's
think
the
was
route.
really missing. But it got really hot. That's what I'm saying. It got really hot, and
Yeah,
we're like,
it
okay,
did.
start this now. But
Yeah.
so those actually look really, honestly,
This is
They
the
look.
old style room.
Mhm.
It had 2 beds, just the and it was solid. This is would have been the door to the bathroom, and there was just a curtain that went across. And this is the new style. This is the Murphy bed, and you can see that it folds out to a table. There's 2 chairs. You can see right here that there's space to put your luggage, and it was really nice. It will fit regular size luggage right under the bed. And this is like it's the sliding barn door style. It was really nice because we could open it and it didn't roll back and forth, which was my fear because I like to have a little bit of light,
Mhm.
especially in a hotel where you're not sure where things are
Right.
in the middle of the night. So that was really nice. This here is kind of an up close of the bed. These are outlets, and these are actually lights right here. And you have switches on both sides to control them. There's right here are USBs, and these are really nice because Sam and I left like our things to charge in here, or we had our bottled water or our books. So it was really nice to have that right there, those built-in end tables. And then
And
here's another
it's
look.
right. No, I was just gonna say that's the look with the Murphy beds down. I was just gonna say kind of like last year I stayed at the Wilderness, and those rooms are. I think they're going up with an upgrade right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're kind of
Yes.
in the. So these were like pre upgrade rooms, and just trying to find plugs to plug in our stuff, and it's just like, oh, I forgot my charger. Can I borrow your charger? The block kind
Yeah.
of so you have the USB, you have the plugs in there. So if you have like iPads and phones and all
Mhm.
that stuff, that looks awesome. And like the table, honestly, having that table, I think trying to think back to even staying in a moderate resort, having having that table there, kind of like eating to like at least put down the pizza so you don't have to clear down like the counter of us like suitcases or your toiletry
Right.
bag or whatever. You have to try to find a space to put everything in. You got that table so you can at least have a couple people sit down and you're not all sitting down on the bed and then worrying about, oh crap, it's white. Oh, well, whatever.
Right.
It's a white
Right.
uh, blanket there and you've got pizza all
Yeah.
over or whatever you're eating. There you have a nice place to sit down. So that honestly, I think if you had to pick any resort out of the five, I think just from what you were talking about, we haven't even talked about All Star at all, and we're
Yeah.
45 minutes in. I think that's saying a lot to how Pop Century is kind of like the gold standard. You've got the
It
Skyline,
is.
you've got
Yeah.
the buses. Of course, even if you don't like the bus service to Epcot or Hollywood Studios, and you rented a car, you can always drive to the theme parks. Correct?
Yes.
Um,
That's right. Yes.
do they still offer like if you're paying for the parking, you pay for parking now at all the Disney hotels, but can you just show that your Magic Band or whatever and still don't have to pay the extra, or did they
Right.
discontinue that?
If you stay on property and you are driving, you still do not have to pay at the theme parks. You do have to pay at the resorts. And it has went up, and it used to be a flat rate, but now it's kind of like the dated tickets where certain like the holidays are more expensive. They've went to that with the parking.
Okay, that kind of stinks, but it is what it
Yeah.
is, I guess. So I mean, I saw an article on was it Inside the Magic, just like even just like the regular buses right now because of all the social distancing. Um, it's been regularly hour-long waits. I know I've had
Yeah.
to do an hour-long wait before, but that's just like maybe once. But these are constantly like people on Twitter going, I've had to wait an hour for each of the buses in general for that. I do kind of agree that it looks
Yeah.
generic, but I think with the value resorts, like honestly, like inside the rooms, you're going to get a little bit less theming. And I think that's kind of just how they're trending in general. And with all of them, like even the beds for like some like the higher tier resorts, it just looks they're just going with the plain generic sheets from what we could tell. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's
they're just plain generic, but the sheets are really comfortable and really soft. And we actually they actually switched out our pillows and gave us hypoallergenic pillows because of my asthma.
oh really? I didn't know
Yeah,
they had hypoallergenic. That's hard to say. Hypoallergenic.
hypoallergenic. Yes,
Yeah. So I mean, I know they're very accommodating.
yes.
I was
So if
actually
you have asthma, if you have a breathing problem, definitely let them know, or definitely let your travel agent know, hey, I have asthma. Hey, I have a breathing problem. And one, they'll make sure that your room gets a deep clean. And in that deep clean, they change out the pillows.
oh, awesome. I didn't know that. So let's talk a
This is
little
the
bit.
bathroom.
And so again, the bathrooms have the sliding doors too. It looks like.
Yes, the bathroom, it has the sliding door here and the sliding door back across here. And it's got a pull-out mirror for makeup. It's got cubby storage under here. And I don't know if they got a picture of the shower or not. I don't know that. Okay. I just pulled that. It was a great website for being able to show you the room.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, Art of Animation is mostly family suites, right? And you've got the Murphy
Yes,
bed. You've got
yes,
two bathrooms, correct?
yes,
One's just a shower. One's a shower and bathtub. Correct me if I'm wrong.
yeah.
You got the Murphy bed and you got the pull-out couch, and then
In the
just
family suite.
in the family suites, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then like there's a dedicated room, just as like either one. I think it's one bed, correct? So there's
Yes.
three different beds, and it can sleep up to six. And those ones are like you got the Lion King, you've got Cars, you've got is the Lion King?
The Lion King, Cars,
Cars
and
and
Finding.
Finding Nemo. And then the pool is the big blue pool at Art of Animation, correct?
Yes, and it is currently under refurbishment.
Okay. Um, and then let's talk a little bit about the let's talk about Skyline a little bit more because if you are
Okay.
not like Lena, um, sorry, I didn't call you out there, and you're okay with using the Skyliner, you also have the access to the Riviera, Caribbean Beach. So
Mm-hmm.
Caribbean Beach, I know, has a pool bar which you can go to, has a sit down restaurant. You could go to
Yes.
Topolino's,
Mm-hmm.
um, and there's like I forget what the bakery's called there. That's in the lobby. Um,
I'm not sure on that one.
we stole a menu. Like I can try. I'm trying to pick the menu from there. Like it was a paper menu, so like they had it laid out so you could take it and go. So it wasn't like we stole it, but it's a little walk up like their Joffrey's location. Um,
I'm glaring at you, Matt.
I know you're glaring at me. Um, but
I've got the mom glare.
so you've got those restaurants, and you can take the Skyliner all the way up to Epcot, the Epcot resorts.
Yes.
Have all that stuff too. So if you're thinking of, well, I have to stay at the boardwalk so I can be here, so I can eat here, 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 and here. You don't have to. You can actually like Art of
It
Animation.
really opened up the dining options, I think, for those who are staying at those resorts. There has, and I can see Disney doing this. There's been rumors that Disney is going to restructure what the resorts are like, and this is all rumor. So nothing is set in stone until you hear from Disney. But this restructure is going to be that value is the All Stars, and there will be a value plus that is Pop Century and Art of Animation, and then there's going to be moderate, which would be any of the moderates that are not connected to the Skyliner, and then moderate plus, which are the Skyliner resorts, and then your deluxe resorts and your villas. I can
So
see Disney changing that simply because of the Skyliner.
because I already know that once the Skyliner was in operation, didn't they raise the prices for Art of Animation, Caribbean
Yes.
Beach? So
Yes.
like moderate plus would just be Caribbean Beach then, correct? And under that,
Caribbean. Yes.
because Coronado and the whatchamacallit, Port Orleans, which right now is not open,
Right.
um, is not they're not connected to the Skyliner whatsoever. But
Right.
I could definitely see like they're already priced that way, so I can definitely see them just saying different levels. Although there's something with simplicity though, where you just have like the three different categories plus DVC.
Yeah.
it makes it kind of harder to choose, but we're not Disney.
Agreed. Right.
But I mean, All Stars kind of just like it's really
All
good for
stars
the
are your
theme.
All Stars are your Super 8 and your Motel 6.
I kind of would agree with on property. If you have like little kids that like love movies, All Star movies will be there. You have the Toy Story area. I know you have the Mighty Ducks
Mm-hmm.
area, which the kid in me would be like, oh, Mighty Ducks. I don't know if the kids
Right.
nowadays would be.
So, like,
So
what's the Mighty Ducks?
yeah, like the Love Bug. I know there's Fantasia.
Yes.
I believe.
Yep.
And the music you have like different music genres. Like you got calypso,
Yep.
jazz. Oh no, calypso is
Yeah, Calypso's part of
yeah.
music. And All Star Music is the only one of the All Stars that has the family suites.
Right. And that's kind of where they tested it out, too,
Yeah.
I believe, before they and from what I remember, that's the long resort. The other two are kind of more spread out.
Chopped up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if you're
Yeah.
staying in the back, it could be a really, really long walk. And I think that's another reason why, like if you don't like walk into the bus stop, which I mean, even if you're at Wilderness Lodge, like we were at the top floor, the highest we can go. We were closest to the boat to the Magic Kingdom, just going down like the emergency staircase, and like
Yeah.
or the fire staircase. Walk right out there, and there was the boat. But to get to the
Right.
buses, it was probably the same walk. I guess the only difference is indoors versus outdoors, right? So if it's raining, it's a little bit more convenient, although it's not really too much of a deal. So I mean, big of a deal, but like I think the big thing is just like if you're staying at a value resort, just kind of in general, it's just like, oh, it's because you're on a budget. Well, it's not really because you're on a budget. It's just that people that are Disney savvy, like they know I can spend my money elsewhere. We can do
Mm-hmm.
more sit down restaurants. We
Yeah.
we can do maybe park hopper instead, or get or the Magic Maker,
Memory Maker.
Memory Maker. Thank you, Memory
Mm-hmm.
Maker. We can spend on all these stuff, or get more souvenirs or pins.
Right.
Well, you know me, I love pins.
Right.
I'm always kind of looking at Shop Disney like, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one. Like, trust me, if we did Disney Springs, the pin central it would be like supermarket sweep with just how many pins I could fit into one bag. It'd be like, okay, $1,000, $2,000 worth of pins.
Yeah.
That would be a winning combination on the game show. But for me right now, like, all right, bye-bye bank account. Like
I
overdraft
want
fees.
to address a Surfer Girl's comment.
Yep.
She says, "Then you can bring your dog to animation." That was actually a test run. It was tested at several resorts, value, moderate, and deluxe, and they actually don't allow it anymore. It's only service animals that are allowed again. I don't know if not enough people utilize it. There were a lot of rules and regulations on bringing your animal to stay with you at the resort, and from what I understand, it didn't go well. There was a lot of damage to some of the rooms because the dogs weren't used to having to be confined in such a area. So I think it's back to just service animals now, unless it's a hurricane situation, and then all the rules change for that.
Yeah. I could have the last dog we had, if we put him in just in like a hotel room like that, I think the entire hotel room would have just been destroyed. So I could definitely understand just that. And then like the amount of people that keep going by well, exactly. Every time they like if some hear voices, even at night, I think that I could see them going either way, because I know there are hotels like that allow pets to stay in the room, but you have to have a certain size limit. And
Yep.
I could see guests kind of abusing this. Well, I brought my German Shepherd. Well, that's not within the size limit, or my Great Dane, and they'll try to get them to
Yep.
bring that pet. So I could understand either way. On that. I can't
Right
think we
now
could.
it's not open, but Disney does have a pet kennel on property. It's called Best Friends Pet Kennel. And you can board your pet there while you stay at Disney. You can go visit them. There's a webcam in each of the kennels, so you can kind of check on your phone. Oh, little Brutus is doing just fine. He's watching Lady and the Tramp, and you can move on with your day.
Right. And I forgot what. So like generic, like most of the all-star, like most of the value resorts, it kind of like, especially when Pop and Art of Animation did when they first opened up, it used to be the only transportation you're getting is the bus. And again, I'm
Yeah.
going back to the fact that okay, that's what kind of set the value resorts um from the
Away.
moderate away from the
Right.
moderates and
So,
the deluxe resorts. Um, Whereas kind of like the moderates, okay, if you're staying at Caribbean Beach or Coronado, okay, Caribbean Beach was kind of in the middle of both Epcot and
mm-hmm.
Highway Studios. So they were short bus rides, but
Yes.
again, those were only bus rides. Whereas Port Orleans, you had the boat to downtown Disney / Disney Springs, the little pontoon style boats, I believe, or party boat style. Like they kind of look like party boats to me, I guess. Maybe not. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been there. Um, but now, like you said before, like they kind of blurred the lines with transportation and creating all these different, potentially
Mm-hmm.
creating all these different categories.
Right.
Um, and again, like the food option, like the dining options at a Valley Resort, it's going to be a food court.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like do you have the gift shop? And I believe,
Yes.
do they still have the arcades?
Yes.
They still
I
have the
love the
arcades.
arcade. They have added the best thing in the world to the arcade. They have added massage chairs to the arcade. And Pop Century has eight or 10 of them. I think there's 5 on each side. They're right as you walk in on both sides. And they are the best thing ever because they're the ones that massage like your legs as well.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
Sam and I actually take ones with us when we go. And in the evening before we go to bed, we will each spend about $5 in the massage chairs because it just kind of loosens up your muscles in your legs and your back and in your head. And after all the walking that you do in the theme parks, and it actually can help. Because I know for me, I'm a little bigger than a lot of people, and so I sometimes start getting lower back pain. But by using the massage chairs every night, no back pain. Plus, it's a really nice little treat at the end of the day.
Trust me. And again, if you have kids, mommy and daddy could go to the pool bar, get a drink first, have like $5 or $10 on hand, and just keep feeding the money into the massage chairs while little Billy and Jane over there go play Dance Dance Revolution or whatever. It's
Exactly.
fun for the whole
Exactly.
family,
Yes.
right there.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly. It's the best thing. They had 4 of them when we were there in 2017, and they added an additional 6 because there were 10. There was 5 on each side. So they see where one it's making them money because parents are like you say parents are feeding the massage chairs while kids are playing in the arcade. Exactly. Just
they're
spend the
making
money.
it, yeah, exactly.
Let
So
it rain.
exactly, making it rain in Disney's
and
pockets
and
there.
you can take your refillable resort mug and fill it up and sit there and drink your soda or go to the pool bar and get a drink and sit in the massage chair. Or, Sam and I even like to go enjoy the arcade, And something to note, I don't know if the moderate deluxe resorts do this, but I know at the value they do. If something happens and the pool is down, the arcade games become free. Um,
I
there was
I
there
wouldn't
was
know
a
that.
there was a floaty in the pool, in the main pool, and so they had to shut it down, floaty, and they had to shut it down to clean and sanitize. And so they opened up all of the arcade games for free. The massage chairs weren't free. The arcade games were free. But it was kind of fun to play air hockey and skee ball and stuff and not be charged for it.
There you go. That sounds actually very very nice. Like I'm sure that happens often, more often than we think, which
Yeah.
kind of a little bit grosses me out. But knowing how much probably chlorine that they pour into those pools. I'm like, okay, I'm. There are a lot worse things than just seeing a floaty in the pool.
Right.
I can't think of anything else that we location, I guess.
I will. Yeah, they are a little comparatively to the moderates and the deluxes. They may not seem like they are the best play. Of course, you're going to have a little bit of a drive or a little bit of a ride. I think for Pop Century, the farthest one is Magic Kingdom. I think it takes the longest. But
I think that would probably be for all of them. I would
I,
assume because I
not really.
remember
Studios and Epcot, you're there almost instantaneously.
right. No,
But
I'm talking
Animal.
about for all the. I'm sorry, the Magic Kingdom would probably be for all five. The
Oh
farthest
yeah,
away.
yeah.
Because I remember just staying at the music and sports, being like
Mhm.
at that point, Animal Kingdom was open. At the first
Okay.
time we stayed there, but just kind of like being at um all-star resorts, it's kind of like it's a little bit of a drive. Like they put them there for a reason.
Mhm.
Um, that it's like, okay, if you want the budget, you're gonna have to the travel times are gonna be a little bit longer. But then
Mhm.
they built Animal Kingdom, and those are the closest valley resorts to Animal Kingdom. It's not really
Right.
that big of a deal. And like you got Blizzard Beach right by too. So if you're going
Mhm.
to the water park with the all-star resorts, it's not too much of a drive.
There's
Um,
give and take on all of it.
definitely. But again, when you're at Disney, I think the farthest resort trip would be definitely Animal Kingdom Lodge to Magic Kingdom. But that
Yeah.
would be like 15
So,
minutes travel time from
yeah.
start to finish.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, which in the large scheme of things, with being the size of like San Francisco,
Yeah.
for only being a 15-minute drive, like, all right, I'll take it. Like you're on
Yeah.
vacation if you plan early, like if you're one of those people that schedule everything, we have a fast pass here, dining reservation here, which you kind of have to when you're going to
Right.
Disney. It's not that it's like you just have to plan a little bit more,
Mhm. Yeah.
just kind of put in some buffer times.
Mhm.
But it's not really that bad. It's definitely not trying to travel in a place like Chicago or New York for that same distance, where it might take you 4 times the amount to get there.
I will say a lot of people knock the food at the value resorts, and I think that the food courts are some of the most underappreciated food at Disney. Um, Sam doesn't like what he calls army eggs because they're very watery. And so we don't really like them. And one morning on it was our trip in 2015. I said, "Is there any way that I could just not get eggs and get extra breakfast potatoes?" And the gal goes, "Well, yeah, of course you can." And I'm like, "Okay, because their breakfast potatoes are phenomenal. If you've
Mhm.
never had the food court breakfast potatoes, they're great." and and so ever since we get the bounty platter with no eggs, extra potatoes. And it there's no additional charge. It's they simply will just put extra potatoes on there. Um
I think
I
like the menus I would think are a little bit similar, the standard fare. But although I think
Mhm,
desserts, like I know All Star Music maybe has a cupcake. I know from what I heard
mhm.
that's a little different. So some of
Century
the
has
stuff.
the tie-dye cheesecake.
Mhm.
And if you have a food allergy, there are generally, I want to say the trays are red. But if you have a food allergy, you pick up the other color tray. It's like blue, I think. It's either blue or like a green color. And they will know, the chef will come out and talk to you just like they will at a sit down restaurant. They'll say, "Okay, what are your allergies? What can you eat? What can you not eat?" Okay, they will go and cook it for you. I
And
know
that's
this because I have a gluten sensitivity, and I really try to, because I it's so easy to not know what, because at home I know, okay, I can eat a little bit of pasta, I can eat this, I can eat that, but it's so easy on vacation to just throw that and go, "Ah!" like a crazy person. So I really try to keep it under control when I'm there. Otherwise, I know I will get sick.
Right,
And
and
so
that's true for any
yeah,
quick service, or like you can just
yeah,
go up and ask. Like I know for me at Satuli Canteen, like I'm allergic to shrimp.
speaking to
I
you, Aaron.
Did Aaron say something?
No, I'm speaking to him about talking to them about food choices.
Ah, oh yeah, oh duh, yes, yes, because duh. Like sometimes the comments on my end, like I'm still learning like StreamYard, and it's like, oh, it didn't
A
pop up yet.
a
Um,
hint for StreamYard is I open up the stream on YouTube, and if you click on the chat, there's a little 3 dots,
mhm,
and if you click on it, it says pop out chat. It will actually bring the chat out into a separate tab, and I just have it like about this wide on the side of my computer, and I have the main screen shorter. That way I can actually chat instead of trying to chat in StreamYard.
Note to self. All right, good tip. But
Because if
kind of
you're a
back
guest,
onto
you can talk
right. Um, um, oh, what I was going to say. Oh, shrimp.
in the
Self,
canteen.
yeah, so to the canteen. Because during the pandemic, they're highly doing mobile order. I didn't realize on the mobile order, they have all the different types of allergies. If you go down on the thing, like
Mhm.
they have allergy menus on the mobile order. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that. And I know that they had a shrimp, like they had a shrimp thing or on the menu there. So I'm like, all right. I talked to the person that was up front. They walked me back and I said, I know this bowl does not have shrimp on it whatsoever, but I'm a little bit concerned. They walked me back. They're like, yep, okay. We told the chef. The chef's gonna make one for you. That they put like a little twig in it that says allergy or whatever,
Mhm.
and then right, like they are very, 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 very accommodating. And again, as long as they know you have an allergy, like they print out a separate menu for you, no matter where
Mhm.
you go. If it's a sit down restaurant, no matter where, it's a separate one. Um, so honestly, if you don't want to pull out your phone, a little bit of, and like you're going in the next couple weeks or so, just say you have an allergy that you don't have, and they'll print out a paper. Oh, they'll print out a paper menu no matter what upon request, so you don't have to use like the whole QR code, so you're not kind of pulling out your phone. I mean, I know that was for me like a concern. Like I'm touching my phone all this time, and I don't want to keep pulling out my phone to look at the menu because it's dirty. Like it's dirty, and like I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, to be honest. So it's just like if I have wash my hands, I have the paper menu. All right, paper menu in my mind clean. Um, and so that was kind of a little bit more peace of mind to have, although it didn't have the desserts on it. It was just the standard fare. Um, but yeah, um, there was something else that I wanted to talk about. I can't for the light of day remember what it was about the value
That's okay.
reserves.
We'll have to do this again because it is after 8:40 here, and I have to be up at 6:30 in the
I
morning to
know
go to work.
that is the purposely reason why I started at least a half hour earlier because I knew you went to
Thank
bed.
you.
Um, I could keep talking for like hours and hours and hours and hours. I could trust me. I don't want you to be grumpy because I know I'm going to get a message before I even wake up going, "You little no." Like you kept me up. I'm grumpy.
Okay, good morning. It's 6:30 a.m. and I get to go deal with middle schoolers.
Exactly. Like, and for me, it'd be sending like the same one where it's like the Chris Farley gift from Tommy Boy, where it's just like, I'm let me for the love of God, let me sleep. But
That'd
all
be
right,
Aaron.
yeah, that would be a little bit me though. But I'm usually a little bit more quiet when it comes to that. Um, but quickly before you go,
Mhm.
I know you've just ended your big Vlogtober. Um,
Yes.
but
October is over.
Vlogtober's over, but you're starting on Vlogmas.
I'm
I know
working on vlog.
you're doing a
I
live
filmed
stream
5
coming up.
videos today.
You filmed your first one yesterday?
I filmed 5 videos today.
Oh, five. Oh, five today. Wow. So yeah,
I filmed and edited 5 videos today.
you were busy. Like
I was.
I'm surprised you don't look tired at all at this point.
It's called the magic of makeup.
Makeup, makeup, and probably a little bit of coffee or tea or. some sort of caffeinated beverage.
Coke.
Coke.
Coca-Cola.
There we go. There we go. There you go. So you've got that. You got a live stream on Tuesday.
Yes. It is my friends Gina and Steve Beck. If you have been on Disboards before, she is actually a big contributor on there in the Universal and SeaWorld forums. Her name on there is Gina Bobina. And I met them on our trip in 2018, and we have been good friends ever since. And they just got back from a week-long stay down in Florida. They did Universal, they did SeaWorld, they did Hallow Screams at Busch Gardens, and they're going to come and talk about their experience traveling and the theme parks during the insanity that is 2020.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely sounds like a very good street because I know the insanity. I experienced the insanity, and just kind of like within the first week of the insanity. So I can tell you, Tuss, that first week, that announcement, that the voice of God announcement, I like to call it, kept changing. It seems like every day, and I know now God has 4 voices now at the Disney parks. You got the British voice, you got Mark Daniel, you've got Tom Kane. And then mystery 4th female voice with that. But
Yep, and Tuesday will be my last live stream for a while. I've got a lot going on and getting ready for Vlogmas and going to Florida for a few days and work. And so after Tuesday, I will be taking a break from live streaming for a while, probably till after the first of the year. But definitely still videos and Vlogmas coming up.
and would you still do the Saturday night live streams with Roxy?
Yeah, I'll still be doing Saturday night live streams with Roxy. I'll still be on other people's live streams, but typically I won't be doing my own as well. It was becoming just a lot. I was spending a lot more time on the computer than I wanted to, and it takes away from family time, and so I had to make some decisions. So I'm live streaming with people. Like if you were to ask me to come back, I definitely would say sure, I will come back. But doing something just on my channel for a while is just one thing too many at the moment.
Definitely. Yeah, we there's still the moderate resorts. We still got the deluxe resorts.
Definitely.
We've got lots to talk about. So thank you. This has actually been a very, very informational. We actually stayed on topic for pretty much the entire time. I know I've been on your stream with Roxy, and actually once talking about the resorts, I think we talked about the resorts for all about 5 minutes. Just here are my favorite resorts, and then it ended up you throwing snowballs at me and I throwing like face masks at you. And what?
I thought those were songs.
They're face masks. It's not 9 o'clock quite yet.
No.
But either way, they were face masks. It does feel like it though. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I had a lot of fun, and this is very informational. I like maps too. You pulled up a map. I'm just like, I'm analyzing it. I'm like, my brother right now is looking at me. He's like, yes, he does like maps. Totally. Like,
if you're looking for a map of a resort, Google is definitely going to be your best friend. You can also email guest services at Disney World, and they will, even though you can't request the big, pretty printed out ones anymore, you can email guest services and request a resort map and the 4 parks maps, and 9 times out of 10 they will still email them or still mail them to you.
Good to know. All right. On that note, I will be back on probably next Sunday. So look out there for the next time. It'll probably be 8 o'clock Central. On that note, again, I'm still trying to think of a good sign off, but I'll stick with the one I kind of came up with, and I'll see you guys in the future. All right. Bye.
Bye.